Are you ready? Are you ready for the news time? Yes, my name is Phil Chambers and I am here with Gareth Morgan for the Saturday news. Exciting times. But first, before we get going, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and links to all of today's stories are in the description below. Just click the timestamp and away you go. But first up, we have some news coming out of the Speaking Out hashtag that's been doing the rounds. Both El Ligero and Travis Banks from NXT UK have both been fired from WWE, obviously following all the allegations that came out a few weeks ago. Also from other companies, Michael Elgin has also been released from Impact Wrestling and removed from all future pre-taped shows, so that's the end of him in Impact. So yeah, things starting to come out about the Speaking Out hashtag. Things are starting to happen. There's still a lot of unknowns and still a lot of stories out there that haven't been haven't been followed up on, I guess, is the way to say it. So we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, it's still a very fluid situation. There's still more stories coming out, and there's still more people with allegations that, or with companies that we haven't quite fully, they haven't made a decision about what their future will be yet. So we will definitely keep you up to date on anything that happens with that. But as for now, two NXT UK talents, both El Ligero and Travis Banks, have both been fired.
Yeah, and that's, well, for the most part, it's WWE's first real reaction, let's say, to this.
Yeah, they got rid of Jack Gallagher pretty quickly.
Oh, yeah, sorry, yeah, Jack Gallagher, yeah.
Reports on that was because he just didn't deny it straight away, so they were like that, okay, off you go. Ligero and Travis Banks both denied it, but then more evidence came out, especially in the Travis Banks case, with Millie McKenzie dropping some very damning DMs, let's say. So yeah, I think that was the only situation you could do with both of these guys.
It's one of them things. It's the company just showing that there's a zero tolerance, and they have to have that approach really as soon as they feel like they're in a position where the people they're speaking about, the people they're dealing with in these situations, haven't got a leg to stand on. Then they've got to do what's best for the industry right now and for their company going forward. So it makes sense.
Absolutely. But it would be bad if they just kind of went into these decisions irrationally and just like got rid of everyone as soon as allegations were made. Obviously, they've took time, they've looked into this, and there are reports saying that WWE are taking all of these very seriously. And they are looking into it behind the scenes. So as much as you might not hear about them doing things, it does seem like these things are going on behind the scenes.
And like you've noted there, you have to take every single situation and case as its own separate entity. You can't just say, oh, this has happened with one person, so that means, oh, yeah, get out. You've got to take absolutely every case on its own account, really. And speaking of, another individual who is rumoured, there's a chance that they could be following the likes of Travis Banks and El Ligero out the WWE door in the near future is the Velveteen Dream, which, it's quite a story to wake up to this morning. There has been a lot of rumours, obviously, about the company not exactly being happy with the allegations that have been put towards him, but multiple sources are now saying that he's reportedly on his way out, and his WWE future, like I said, has been up in the air because of everything that's been coming out. It's been coming out since April, but he did deny it back then. But the Mat Men podcast has now noted on Twitter that two different sources have told them that his days in WWE are numbered. And then Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful also responded to that tweet, and they said that, he said that he's heard the same thing, and he noted that he's heard some not so wonderful news about Dream that doesn't have anything to do with any of the allegations against him. So that's quite an interesting tweet as well. The Wrestling Observer newsletter also mentioned that Dream's future with the company in their latest issue, which was released this week, and it noted that another allegation has actually been made against him. So things just seem to be mounting up right now for Dream in this situation. It doesn't look great. If that many different sources are all coming out and saying it doesn't look good, it often tends to mean that it's probably not going to look good. Again, WWE haven't made an official statement. They've not said what's going to be happening with Dream going forward. I don't believe he appeared on NXT last week, if I'm right. I don't think he did.
No, I don't think so.
So that's another, we might be reading into that, but that's another thing that probably sways towards this. And it also has been announced that yesterday, Dream was also involved in a car accident. So that was again, according to Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful. He said that WWE have confirmed to him that he was released from hospital. There was no major injury occurred, which is a good thing. Obviously, at least nothing serious has happened there. But it just seems to be going from bad to worse, I guess, right now for Dream.
Yeah, not looking good. Some of the allegations against him are very serious indeed. So at least it's good that WWE are taking these seriously and are looking into each case on an individual basis. On this note as well, we should say that WWE have apparently known about the Matt Riddle allegations for about a year now. And they've run their own investigation into it. So, I mean, take from that what you will. Not saying anything either way. But they have known about this situation for much longer, so that seems like the Matt Riddle ones are a bit of a different situation to some of the new allegations that are coming out. Anyway, moving on from all the speaking out stuff, Wrestling Inc. We're talking to a developmental talent in WWE that wants to remain anonymous for quite obvious reasons. And they've basically sent them a letter about the ongoing global bastard situation thing. And it's a little bit long, but I'm going to read the whole thing because it's quite interesting.
I'm just getting my coffee ready, Phil.
Yeah. Right, so now that WWE has more talent and staffers starting to test positive, we've been informed by Talent Relations not to discuss our illness with anyone besides those we live with that may need to know. We are forbidden to tell anyone else, nor can we come out publicly to make any statements, which is interesting, to say the least. It goes on to say that it was stressed that WWE will take care of any medical treatments should we need them, which is good. They should absolutely be doing this. And in the same breath, it was made clear the company would handle the PR and only those that needed to know about our condition would know, as HIPAA laws would prevent them from making our names public. Now, obviously, just as a brief, this isn't in the letter, obviously, but Renee Young, Kayla Braxton have both come out. Jamie Noble, Adam Pearce, and another member who was in the crowd, I can't remember his name.
Yeah, as an extra.
Have all come out, saying that they have got the disease. So it seems like this is just applying to on-screen wrestling talent. But yeah, carrying on with the letter. While I appreciate WWE's assistance helping us during these unprecedented times, WWE put us in the position in the first place. They continue to tape multiple shows a day that average 10 to 12 hours plus for at least 2 and sometimes 3 days in a row. Those in the audience are kept in air-conditioned tents away from the active talent and staff that are housed in other sets of tents on the Performance Center property. Most people were not tested until last week, as we were told that they didn't believe the validity of some of the testing being done. They figured they would have their own so-called testing, the letter puts it, which included temperature checks and a medical evaluation form, but no testing for the actual disease. And look at where that got them now. They go on to say it just gets worse. Some people were asked to invite friends, family, and some fans that they've befriended to attend shows at the Performance Center. How do you think they feel now, knowing potentially they put those they regarded as close to them in harm's way? And yes, it was true that Kevin Dunn did not allow fans to wear masks and made a scene twice over the PA to not wear masks. It's a shame these people came out to support the talent and the company they love and were treated this way. It's mad, this isn't in the letter, this is me, it's mad that they were allowing people to bring friends and family in the first place. That's absolutely mental.
Yeah, but I think that got lost in the shuffle a little bit because pretty much everything's been mental regarding this company in the last couple of weeks.
So carrying on with the letter, there's still more. In closing, I would like to give you some information on our medical screening process, as most have been calling it a questionnaire. One of the questions is, have we done anything that would put ourselves at risk for contracting COVID-19? That includes being around large gatherings of people not wearing masks where it's suggested to do so. Some have attended packed beaches, parties, and recently opened amusement parks here in Florida. Good job, Florida.
Yeah.
They know better than to post pictures on their social media accounts, as they shouldn't be attending these locations in the first place. They'll talk about where they've gone, but won't mention it when it comes time to be screened. It's very unfortunate that WWE puts business first and the health and safety of everyone second. We will come together. I cannot say the same thing about WWE management. The train is not only off the tracks, but has gone over a cliff in a blaze of glory. That's the end of the anonymous letter.
See, I think that they've just given away who it is. It's Braun Strowman. It's definitely Braun Strowman. You just sent that letter. That's. Where do you even start with that?
I know there's so much to unpack in that. Like starting off with not allowing talent to tell anyone that they've contracted the disease. Carrying on that, like, they're going to handle all the PR. At least the one shining light of this is that they're going to handle all of the medical costs that might come from it. Which is the bare minimum that they should be doing.
But it's the fact that you said in the same breath, you were like, yeah, we'll handle the PR, don't say a word. Like, it's just everything they do that's positive, it's just tinged in this darkness of, no, let us control everything. Let's control this situation. You can't control it. It's evident.
Absolutely. Now, it does look like things are getting a little bit better at the minute. There's reports from the SmackDown tapings yesterday, and there's going to be some Raw tapings today, that they are carrying on with the testing, doing more testing. People that tested negative last time are still getting new tests to make sure. They are allowing masks as well.
It's worth noting they had them on SmackDown. They had masks on. They're all wearing the masks.
So at least things seem to be looking up in this situation, but it never should have got here in the first place. There's also reports from Wrestling Inc. saying that the 24 rumoured positive tests is low.
Wow.
So there's that.
Well, it's like you said, obviously these rules of not being able to talk about if you've got it or not only apply to the wrestlers.
Yeah.
So we've heard all these announcers and the presenters coming out and extras saying, oh yeah, I've got it. The number of talents who could right now have it's frightening. I know it will sit here and go, oh god, they're so awful. It's frightening to think how many people might have it right now.
You've got to think as well, like the 4 main people that they've announced, Kayla Braxton and Renee Young, very close quarters with wrestlers throughout the shows. Like Renee Young just on SmackDown last week was in the ring with Riddle, Bryan, AJ, and what was it, like 20 people surrounding the ring that she was all in close quarters with. And then the other ones are Jamie Noble and Adam Pearce, who work very closely with both higher ups in WWE and talent, going through the matches. They're both producers, so they'll be working very closely with talent and the management higher ups. So they'll be all over the place.
And I don't know if I'm just looking too far into it, but you look at the people who didn't show up on SmackDown this week. You Sheamus, AJ, and Bryan. 3 people who have been heavily involved in like interview segments. I mean, a lot of people who showed up on SmackDown this week had been also, but I think it was notable that those 3 who definitely were in close quarters with the likes of Kayla Braxton and Renee Young last week didn't show up. So, crazy situation, which is about to get a whole lot crazier, Phil, because WWE apparently have been making plans to get fans back into tapings, which is, it's insane. It's literally insane. Fight Select have reported, they reported this yesterday, the WWE have had these plans to start taping Raw and SmackDown in front of crowds once again in Florida, which is the safest place on planet Earth, as we all know right now. It's been revealed now, though, that WWE have reportedly contacted a company for local people for TV tapings on a Friday and a Monday in late July. And this is according to the Wrestling Observer newsletter. The dates discussed were Friday, July 24th and Monday, July 27th for live TV shoots at the RP Funding Center in Lakeland, Florida. And that venue seats 8,000 people. It's hosted Ring of Honor shows in the past as well. It's been noted that these dates were originally set to obviously go down in July, like I said there, but they're now potentially being pushed to August. I
wonder why.
Couldn't think why. It's just, insane. And apparently this whole thing is happening so WWE is so hell-bent on getting crowds in front of their wrestlers again. It's because Vince McMahon reportedly wants to be the first person to run a live indoor sports event with fans during the situation, which I don't know. I mean, UFC right now have been putting on events for weeks and weeks and weeks, and Dana White's quite happily come out recently and always been saying pretty much from the very beginning, we are not thinking about putting people in front of anyone for probably the rest of this year. They're quite happy to be in that situation. He's quite a gung-ho owner, as we know, and even he's sat there and just gone, nah, we shouldn't be doing this. So it's madness, like I've said. The plan was to allow fans, but to still practice social distancing in these quarters. which would mean they'd have to limit the crowds to a percentage of the allowed capacity. So it wouldn't be the full 8,000 people in that arena. It'd probably maybe even half of that. But yeah, more insane news.
Yeah, of course, Vince McMahon is gonna Vince McMahon, isn't he? It's just, I mean, we all knew he was gonna be desperately trying to get that first show back with fans, because that's like, we did it, we beat the virus. No, you just infected everyone with it. Anyway, moving on, I suppose, to news about Baron Corbin and Matt Riddle. Apparently, Baron Corbin is unhappy with the plans that are in place for him to face Matt Riddle. He apparently only just found out about the match last week, whereas Matt Riddle has known about this for several months. But Corbin also, this is the interesting part of this, insisted that Riddle should have to face 5 enhancement talents before he is allowed to face Baron Corbin.
Yeah, that's...
Obviously.
Someone thinks a lot of themselves, don't they?
Don't they just? I hope this is just him trying to be a heel and get stupid rumours out there to make people hate him some more, but at the same time it might not be.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He seems a bit too behind the curtain for that. It's odd.
Yeah, it's a bit weird. But he probably should have seen this feud coming anyway, because there's obviously a history there with Baron Corbin and Matt Riddle. Corbin eliminated Riddle from both the Survivor Series elimination matches and the Royal Rumble. So there's a really obvious inbuilt storyline there.
Yeah.
So yeah, you probably should have seen it coming, Baron.
I mean, to be honest, if this is in fact how he felt and it's not some kind of weird story that he's trying to push out there, they could use it. They could use it on SmackDown. He could be there going, "Oh, I've beat you twice. I'm so above you. You should be going through." Hope he doesn't throw people under the bus and say you should be going up against Shorty G and people like that, because that's something Baron Corbin would do, or WWE would do. Let's say. It makes sense as a feud. I can't understand. I would have thought Corbin as a talent would probably want to work with Riddle right now, because he is somebody who's got a lot of attention on him for various reasons right now in the company. I don't know. It make a lot of sense to have that feud. I don't know who else he thinks he should be up against. Does he think he should be battling Braun Strowman for the Universal title?
Probably.
Yeah, to be fair. Well, speaking of that, he got absolutely battered at the end of SmackDown. So let's have a chat about that. Obviously, it was a SmackDown pretty much dedicated to The Undertaker, because obviously he had his last episode of The Last Ride, where he was pretty much hinting at him being properly done. This is it, forever, until he comes back out of retirement, but it's done. So we had everyone coming out, all of his old rivals, talking about how great he is and his legacy and him just being the phenom. We also had a replay of the Boneyard match. We had a clip from the 1990 Survivor Series. We also had Jeff Hardy defending his honor by beating up Baron Corbin, and then he got battered by the New Day and Matt Riddle and just everyone, Braun Strowman as well, and that was a thing. And then I think the biggest takeaway coming out of SmackDown in terms of stuff going forward, apart from the Undertaker tributes, was the matches that got announced for Extreme Rules House of Horrors. I'm going to keep calling it that because it's great, it's hilarious. We got the Swamp Fight between...
Swamp Fight!
Yeah, you're damn right! The non-title Swamp Fight.
Sorry, I've just been sat here waiting for you to say Swamp Fight.
I've been waiting my whole life to say Swamp Fight, Phil. My whole life. So that's happening because Braun Strowman did this really weird thing where he seems like he was really getting off talking about how evil Bray Wyatt was. And he's having a swamp fight, but it's a non-title swamp fight. He's not putting the belt up in the swamp. That'd be ridiculous.
Can't put the belt in a swamp.
No way.
You don't put the belt in the swamp.
So there's that. And then the less ridiculous match, which got announced, which I'm actually quite looking forward to, is the SmackDown Women's title match between Nikki Cross and Bayley, because Nikki Cross battered, she didn't batter, she rolled up, I think it was Lacey Evans in the end, at the end of a fatal four-way, which was between Alexa Bliss, Nikki Cross, Lacey Evans, and Dana Brooke, which I really enjoyed. I thought it was a great little match. It was really high-paced, and everyone got the stuff in. I enjoyed it. And so that's going to be really entertaining because you've got the Bayley Sasha dynamic going up against the Nikki Cross Alexa Bliss dynamic for a little bit longer. A bit of infighting potentially between Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss as well, because she's got the match and Alexa didn't. We love this, a bit of nuanced storytelling going forward, but the big takeaway is Swamp Fight.
Swamp Fight! Can't wait.
Yeah,
it's going to be so stupid. Oh my God. House of Horrors was, well, it's that in a swamp, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the swamp of horrors. It's just...
What's not to love?
I don't know. I can't. My imagination won't even allow me to think about what's going to happen in that match. It's just going, no, wait, stop it. just wait for it to happen.
Finally, Charlotte Flair. There's obviously been reports about her being out for quite some time. Maybe that these reports are slightly exaggerated. She has recently said that she will only be out of action for a few weeks, which is contrary to some of the reports that were going out that had her out well past SummerSlam. But she said that if she is able to, it is said that if she is able to return, then the current plan is to work a triple threat match with Nia Jax and Asuka for the title at SummerSlam. Now, she has been taking time off for an as yet unknown surgery, which is, I guess, why people thought that she was going to be out for much longer than she is. But if it's only a small thing, she might be back. But she has also been taping a new reality TV show that she's got going on as well. So obviously this is new information coming out about this, so we will keep you up to date as and when we hear more. But at the minute, it looks like the Charlotte thing might have been slightly exaggerated and she could be back sooner than we thought.
It's one of them. It just seems like a day-to-day thing to deal with right now, because I feel like Charlotte, just being the brilliant worker she is, could be saying, yeah, I'll be back in a couple of weeks, and she might, in fact, just turn up a couple of months down the line. Like, it's more like she's keeping us talking about her, which is the key thing here. I hope she comes back for SummerSlam, because like I think it'd be good for her just to spend a couple of weeks maybe just off television, because she's been on pretty much every television show, it feels like, at this point, for the last couple of months. So keep her off, make her come back a little bit fresh. But SummerSlam's such a big show. I think we need her. Do you know what I mean? We need the best stars to be on the best shows. But I think the oddest thing about Raw right now is the fact that you've got people like Bianca Belair, you got Kairi Sane, Shayna Baszler. Three of the best performers that WWE have had come from NXT to the main roster in absolute years. And they're just doing nothing. And they'd sooner just keep that spot nice and warm and ready for Charlotte Flair to come back at SummerSlam. As much as I want her to come back, because she's just an awesome wrestler, you've got other stars there that are just doing nothing. Use them.
Yeah. Absolutely. But yeah, like I say, we'll keep you up to date as and when we find out more. But that has been today's news. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. My name has been Phil Chambers. If you want, you can follow me on Twitter at PhilMyChambers, and you can follow Gareth
at GMorgan04, where I've got loads of pictures of me in vests.
And you can, I don't know if you actually want to follow that now. Maybe don't. And you can follow everyone at WhatCulture at WhatCulture WWE. Make sure you subscribe to the channel down below. Make sure you like the video, and make sure you comment below what you think of all of today's stories. But most importantly, have yourselves a bloody good day. Goodbye, everyone.
See you later.